So how Grover came to be at Seton was a labor of love by the rehab team, really, and it was years of planning and vision that really our team came up with. We're a special place, Seton is a special place, and they felt that. They really wanted to do something that was different and recognize the frailty and the vulnerability of our patients, and they really wanted to meet them on a holistic manner.
Well, our interactions with Grover were very special because me having two boys that were very young, well, at the time that I was at the hospital, they were really scared of coming to see me and see all the things that were going on. And Grover helped us to interact with them in a way that they feel safe. They felt like nothing was as bad as they thought it was, and they even had fun, and they wanted to come see me because they wanted to play with Grover. And for us and for our family, that was very, very special.
At the time that I was making the decision where to go and what place will be better for my wife, I wanted the best place, right? So I made a research and I visited several hospitals, and I keep telling this story to my family. When I came here, there was something, I cannot tell you what exactly, but that was something that made me feel this is the place that she needs to come. So when she came, she immediately, I remember that she immediately felt more comfortable. He was saying, this is less of a hospital, right? And this is exactly one of the points that Grover makes. You can see a regular thing, not that it's not a doctor, it's not a nurse, it's a dog, right? You get to see a dog in the hospital. So it's something that Grover brings to the hospital, but definitely we found a family. I was telling my siblings that we found in the people that works here another family. We get to have a coffee with them, we get to have a conversation with them, we share how was the day at work with them, we share how we were feeling, and these type of things. They become part of your life and part of your family.
What the public should know, what we do at Seton, is that they can ensure their safety with us first. Also, we're able to communicate to be able to make sure, one goal is at hand, and it's that patient. So we just want to make sure, we all have the same interest with one another, make sure that patient is getting what they need.
Yeah, I think one of the most unique things about Seton is that we have folks for a longer stay usually, and so we see them in the very beginning when they're really sick, and can see them all the way to the end when they're doing so much better. And it's sort of the metaphor of it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Seton's a marathon, and the time that we spend with patients here in therapy, with nursing, with respiratory, everybody, it ends up being this great marathon that we all kind of run together with.
Grover, what's so special about Grover is, again, the folks that come here have been in the hospital for such a long time that they've lost their sense of self a lot of times. And there's the phrase that Maya Angelou talks about, thriving as elegant. And there's a difference between surviving and thriving. And the thing about Grover is he helps to bridge that surviving into thriving by reminding people what it means to be alive. Not just existing in the hospital, but who that they are, who that Leslie is. Because Grover will come up and he sees you. He doesn't see the ventilator or the dialysis machine or anything. He sees you, and you're the person with the ball, and you're throwing the ball for him. So he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything else except for that you're going to throw the ball and play with him that day. And you can see people really respond to that.
Grover, get Maya, get to the adults. Bye. bring joy to their life, but you may not feel joy that particular moment of the day in the hospital.
What I recall about the Reeder family and their connection with Grover is that they just loved animals, and having that kind of presence just brought a different set of just a different kind of energy into what I'm sure is several hectic days and nights and a lot of stress. And even if the moments were brief, times with Grover were, I could tell, much appreciated by them, and it just got them to forget about everything else that they had going on and provide them with some smiles.
I have been fortunate to be a nurse practitioner with Seton for at least 14 years, and we have patients that come here who have spent at least 2 to 4 weeks at another hospital, very sick. Most of our patients come from ICUs, and they have medical problems, acute illnesses that are pretty bad. They're usually intensive care patients that come to us. They've already been sick for 2 to 4 weeks with something that is significant, and they're still not getting better. And they come here and can be weeks to a few months to get better. And so it's hard. It's hard for the patients. It's hard to make sure that they're encouraged, that they want to continue to get better, that they don't get caught up in how emotional and slow their progress is. And the same thing for their families. And I think that that's what has encouraged me to stay here. It's not just the medicine, it's the part of that whole being, that whole person getting better. And Grover is just so instrumental in bringing a different view of happiness here to them, whether it's just his playfulness, the way that they can interact in doing therapy that's different than standing and walking in machines or equipment. It's a way that they can play, and so that's huge. And for many of the patients, lots of them are dog lovers. If you go around rooms, you'll see a lot of these patients who haven't been home for 1, 2, 3 months, sometimes longer, and they have their pictures of their own dog on their bedside tables or taped to the walls, and they can't see that pet that means so much to them. And I think Grover brings a little bit of that to them. So I think he does what, I think he does what only a dog can do.
What would I want others to know about St. Seton? That would be that it's a really great place to heal. It's a great place to be when you have when you have a surgical procedure or anything that you may have to heal from. It's, hey buddy, sit. It's a really great place to heal. It's I can't express it enough. The staff is positive, everybody's positive. They make sure that everything that, hi, I love you too. They make sure that everything that you need is right there, and they're warm and comforting, as is Grover. Knows exactly when you need a little extra paw in life because maybe your day is a little tough. And Seton is an awesome place to get the healing that you need.
So sharing a memorable moment about Grover, there's a lot of just fun ones and funny ones, but the most memorable for me are the people, again, as our folks here are so sick that there's a lot of folks that don't make it home. And we've had at least 2 people that I remember that their very last thing that they wanted, one person that went to St. Vincent's Hospice and passed, and the other person passed here. Their very last thing that they wanted was to see Grover. And I mean, that's amazing that he can bring that, because there are things that no matter how brilliant of healthcare providers that we are, that we can't fix. And we just can't make it better, but Grover can be there with them on that journey.
If you know, and believe me, I have hard times. I have really hard times. Living in a wheelchair for next year will be 30 years. That's hard. That's difficult. But every morning I wake up, the first thing I see is my chair because it's right there. And I have to put myself in a positive mood. Otherwise, I know that the day could just fall apart. But no matter how many things come along and keep knocking you down, you just have to remember that there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. There's a little faith that you have to have that it's there. And if you keep that in your mind, healing is so much easier and so much better when you can just stay a little positive.
Well, my advice for other families and people that are going through some kind of illness here would be keep the faith and trust in the people that work here. They all want the best for you. They are amazing people, and they are going to take care of you and your family. So my advice to them would be keep the faith and trust in the staff of this amazing hospital.
The last one I was going to ask is, what advice would you give to other patients? Any advice that you would give to other patients?
Don't get sick.
Grover loves Seton. He loves Seton and he loves coming to work. He will sit at the end of my car in the morning. Many mornings he will not even eat his food because he's so worried that I'm going to leave without him. And he's happy to go home at the end of the day too, but he's much happier to come to work. And this is his home. He lives with me, but this is his home and this is his love.